Welcome to Beyond the Strikes, and I'm delighted to say we're joined by Cage Warriors fighter Richie Miranda. Richie, it's a pleasure to talk to you today. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I just got back from practice, so just chilling for a bit, and then got more practices later on. So
Excellent. Well, I mean, firstly, it's a massive congratulations to you for your first round sub at Cage Warriors 130. Have you had a chance to watch the tape?
yeah, I've watched it. It was pretty quick, so I've watched it about I don't know maybe 20 times already.
I mean, it was super impressive. As soon as we saw it, we're like, we've got to get him on the show. So
Yeah.
yeah. So first round is called From the Start, and our first question is: have you always wanted a career in combat sports, or did you have different career aspirations when you were growing up?
Um, First off, I used to watch a lot of boxing with my dad growing up, so I knew I wanted to get into it there at some point. But growing up, I never had a chance to play any sports or anything like that until I got into high school. I started wrestling. So I started wrestling, then went on to junior college, All American there twice, and then I ended up going to school in Nebraska, University of Nebraska Kearney. Wrestled there, and then my eligibility was done. So after that, yeah, I don't know, lifting weights and just wrestling wasn't doing it for me. So I was always watching UFC once I started wrestling, and then or just fights in general. And yeah, I decided to go to a local gym out there called Carney Combat, and then yeah, I started training, and then 4 months later, I had my first amateur fight.
Yeah. So and when you were watching the boxing with your dad, did you have any go-to boxers that you just like were your favorite to watch?
Uh, yeah, pretty much all the Mexican fighters. Those are like Juan Marquez. I mean, De La Hoya was there. Mayweather. All those from the early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I think we're similar age, so it was. I was kind of watching the same. I think Mayweather broke my heart with Ricky Hatton, though, so I still
Oh,
haven't
I
quite forgiven him.
remember that fight. I still remember that one.
Yeah, it was incredible. I actually came over to Vegas to watch Mayweather fight in a different one, and like he was incredible. I think the first round I was watching, thinking, God, he's being hit quite a lot here. So we were in the MGM Grand, and we were a little bit high up. I was like, he's getting absolutely smashed here. And then in between, they were showing on the big screen that pretty much every punch was like missing him by a couple of inches. It
Yeah.
was just incredible. I'd never seen anything like it. It was
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
insane.
Incredible defense.
And you mentioned about UFC. Can you remember the first MMA fight that you watched and thought, you know what, this is for me. I want to get into this.
um, no, but pretty much, I was watching all the fights. So like during, I mean, once I started wrestling, I just started watching all sorts of combat sports, but specifically not one in specific, but pretty much all the fights. Yeah, just I was like, what, with my wrestling, I can go in there and dominate, and that's just me being a wrestler, and um, yeah, I just started training and decided I want to get into it.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like a sport at the moment where anyone who has got those wrestling abilities seems to be on another level to a lot of the other fighters. And it just feels like over the next 5 years that it's just going to be such an important thing to have, really. I think eventually, if you don't have that wrestling background, it's going to be tough for you when you fight against wrestlers. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty. And then we're always really interested in fight nicknames and where they've come from. So yours, the El Machete, is a cool fight nickname. Where
Yeah.
did that come from?
So my first coach, Richard Barajas, he's like, you talk like Danny Trejo, like my voice, like, we're gonna give you, he's like, we're gonna call you El Machete. So my first fight, they put it down, and then yeah, it just stuck.
I
Hmm.
mean, it is cool. And do you know what? I did kind of think that. So one of the questions we've got later, which I might just ask now. So have you seen the movies?
No, I seen part of it. I haven't seen. I mean, I seen them in other movies, but I
Yeah.
haven't seen that one yet. But
I mean,
uh,
they're good. There's a couple. I think there's Machete and Machete Kills, I think, is a
yeah,
sequel.
yeah,
And yeah, I mean, they're exactly what you think they're going to be like. They're brilliant.
yeah. So yeah, it just stuck, and yeah, it's I like it, so
It's
it's
a
good.
good one. And then outside of MMA, what are you passionate about?
I mean, I have a motorcycle, so I like to ride my chopper. You know, just hang out with friends, do outdoor stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty chill. You know, I like to stay active. So yeah, I mean, pretty much those are my hobbies outside.
Yeah. And with the motorcycle, are you into motorsports at all, or is it more casual, like riding the bike?
Well, I started off with like a quad, then I got a dirt bike. So I had a dirt bike for a while, and then yeah, once I was able to get my motorcycle license, I got me a Harley. So chopped it. Yeah, ride that every so often when I can. Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I love a quad bike. I have to say that over here it's really strange. There's like every few years you'll see someone riding on the road on a quad bike. Like it's really rare, but you'll see every few years someone will go past. Yeah, it is super cool. And in terms of movies, like are you into movies at all? We spoke about El Machete.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I watch pretty much all kinds of movies. But I would say like action and comedies is what I like to stick with mostly. Yeah.
And if you're choosing someone to play you, I kind of think I know the answer already then. If you're choosing someone to play you in a movie, who would you choose?
I don't know, man. Maybe Jack Black, just because I like Nacho Libre so much.
That's a good movie. I love that choice. Yeah, Jack Black would be great. I'd love to see Jack Black cage fighting. That would be
Right.
amazing. I would definitely be there watching that. And in terms of being a fighter, so one of the things that's spoken about quite a lot is mental strength versus physical strength, and the importance of the both. What would you say is more important, if either?
I think both are pretty important, but I would say mental preparation is a key, you know, because you want to go out there confident and confident in your abilities and know that you have all the tools to win. And my head coach, now I train at a different place. When I moved back to California, I train at CSW. It's called Eric Spolston CSW under head coach Ben Jones. And yeah, Coach Ben, he's just I mean, he trains us to go out there and get finishes, you know, get kills, and he just, I mean, the whole practice is just breathing confidence into our mind, and especially on fight day, you know, it's just, you know, with our pre-fight warm up, you know, everything working our game plan, and then, you know, in the back right before I walk out, he's just telling me, you know, this is what we came to do, and you know, I got the best seat in the house, and I'm gonna watch you go out there and get finish, and you know, that's exactly what happened. So
Yeah, I mean it's
shout
working.
out to my head. He
Yeah,
really,
absolutely
really
working.
made of that.
Yeah, and kind of getting that focus in that mindset. Is there anything else that you have like any routines or superstitions in the fight prep that you kind of make sure you're doing before you make that walk?
Um, yeah, I fight day and weigh-in day. I wear all black. Wear all black, just like a funeral. You know, I'm going out there to get a finish, to get a kill, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You know.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I love that. And is it always the same black outfit, or do you change it up?
No, I change it up. I just yeah, as long as it's all black, that's good with me.
And so in any of your amateur and pro fights, have you had to overcome any kind of trash talk or mind games in the build up, and how have you been able to do that?
No, not really. Well, my third fight, I fought a pretty good striker, and that's when I really wasn't really too confident in my hands. And, you know, he rocked me, he hit me with some good shots, but in my head, I just knew I had to take it to the ground and finish that one. My second pro fight, it was in a ring, in a boxing ring, so that was kind of weird. But um, yeah, even though I was in bad positions, I still knew I can how to control those positions, and I was throwing submissions and getting out, and you know, I just stayed positive and keeping that winning mentality that I was gonna come up on top, and yeah, that's pretty much what's been happening right now.
Yeah, and I've always wondered that. So I watch quite a lot of One Championship, and they kind of change it up with the MMA in terms of what sort of like moving outside of the cage, and they go into some of the rings. Like, it must be really different, particularly I guess if you're grappling a lot and you're used to going up
Yeah,
against the cage. Like,
yeah.
how do you approach that?
Well, it was kind of weird because the guy was pretty much just clinching me up, so there's no way really to like maneuver him to turn him against the ropes. But working with my boxing coach too as well, I've gotten more confident in my hands. So shout out to Coach Dale, and I knew that if I was able to blend in my strikes with my takedowns, I was gonna get in. So that's exactly what happened. I would hit a couple of strikes, change levels, shoot in, and get on top. So it was a little weird at first, but it's you're fighting, so you know.
Yeah, and do you prepare? Do you know beforehand that it's not going to be in a cage, or like when did you find out that?
Yeah. So this promotion, it's called Fight Club OC. It's like
Mhm.
really house. They do a hybrid show, so they do like boxing and MMA, boxing and MMA. So, yeah, I knew once I was gonna fight there, I was gonna fight in a boxing ring. Hmm.
Yeah, and did you for your fight prep? Are you like practicing in a ring, or did you keep it in the cage?
Yeah, for the most part, we did have because we have a ring in my gym too. So
Mhm.
do a couple rounds in the cage, couple rounds in the ring. So, so that kind of helped a little bit, but yeah, you're gonna go in there and fight anyways. So I never go into the cage or the ring right before like to shadow box or anything. I like it to be a new experience for me. You know?
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting. Because you see quite a lot of the fighters, like maybe the day before or when they arrive, they get that chance to kind of have a look and look around. But for you, just don't like to go in beforehand. It's just kind of that experience of getting in there
yeah.
for the
I,
first
I like
time.
I like to just go in there right when it's fight time. Same thing with Cage Warriors. Like it was a nice venue. Shout
Mm.
out, they did a really great job. Took care of us all fight week and everything. And yeah, it's just a thing for me that I like to experience it right when I go in there to fight. Hmm.
And then in terms of a typical fight camp for you, what are the kind of like? Can you talk us through your typical fight camp?
Yeah, so we really don't have fight camp because pretty much in the gym the whole all year round.
Mhm.
Just pretty much once we have a fight, we just ramp it up more, So, but I'm always running every day. I got my 2-3 practices that I have a day, and then strength twice a week. Pads with my coach twice a week or whatever. Then boxing with my coach 2-3 times a week, and then of course we have MMA practice Monday through Friday, but specifically a fight camp, we don't really. We just mainly just game plan, and then yeah, just ramp it up more.
Yeah, and how much time do you spend focusing on who your opponent is versus focusing on what you want to do in the fight?
So I'll watch some tape if there's tape on them. I'll watch some tape.
Mhm.
Coach does as well, but pretty much I just leave it up to him, and he makes a game plan for me, and then that's what I follow, and then that's what I try to implement during my sparring sessions or at practice. Mhm.
Excellent. And then outside of MMA, do you have any people who've really inspired you who you maybe haven't met yet and would love to meet?
Um, no, not really, but I do take a lot of inspiration from, I would say, my
Hmm.
parents and my coaches. Just because they've been my parents, just because they've been hardworking, ever since they moved here, because they were from Mexico and then moved here, and seeing them how they always been working, and now my dad has his own auto shop business. My mom works at a hospital. So, and then my coach, just him, coming from football to MMA, and he had great success training at CSW, and then yeah, I mean, he's just passing down the torch to all his fighters. So
Yeah, and I think that work ethic is something that just holds you in such good stead. And it sounds like you're really grounded as well. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
excellent. So we have got a hypothetical round for you, so you can be as random as you want with this one. And we've got two hypothetical questions. So first question is, if you could be any living person for a day, who would you choose and what would you spend the day doing? And it could be anyone.
Anyone. Damn. Damn, that's a I would maybe damn.
I mean, it is random.
Right. I don't know, maybe Michael Jordan, see what he was I mean, there was a documentary on him, so we got to see a lot about him, but yeah, see what a day in life of a life of him, something
Yeah,
like
I mean, that would be pretty cool, as well as being like rich beyond belief. I think I'd probably end up just designing trainers. I'd like get on the phone to Nike and be like, right, I've got an idea of exactly what I want, and then just get it launched so I could have it.
yeah.
That would be cool. And then second question, so it's a zombie apocalypse and you need to escape a city crawling with the undead. Which one fighter would you team up with and why?
I would team up with my training partner, his name's Jacob Rosales. He's all these horror movies, so it would be a great help. We both have a at the end, we're just playing away.
So he knows all the rules, all of the
Yeah,
rules of it. I think that's so true because I was thinking to myself, like, who to choose, and you kind of immediately think like, who's the most athletic fighter and like quickest. But then actually, with zombie stuff, you kind of need someone who gets it. So
yeah, has some tactics, So
yeah, it's so true. Okay, next round is called quickfire questions. So I'm going to give you two options, and I want the first answer that comes to mind. So you ready?
yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, so the Avengers or X-Men?
X-Men.
Striking or grappling?
Grappling.
Pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
The Simpsons or South Park?
Simpsons.
Fighting for $1 million or fighting for the title?
Fighting for the title.
Like it. Usman or Covington?
Usman. We wrestle at the same school, so I got to go with Usman.
I mean, it's going to be great this weekend. I'm absolutely buzzed for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The ability to breathe underwater or to see in the dark?
Ooh, see in the dark.
I mean, that's pretty cool to be able to do
Yeah.
that. And then final one of these. So a KO win in the first 5 seconds of the fight or a KO win in the last 5 seconds of a fight?
Let's go the first round.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
So let's do it. I like to get in there and get out quick.
Yeah. Brilliant. So final section is on what's next. And with 3 pro wins from 3, it feels like momentum's really building for you. What's the latest on when we can see you back in the cage?
I don't know. I kind of want to take a little time off just because I fought back to back. But I don't know, maybe something in December or early January. So like I said, I'm always in the gym. So once I get something, and my coach is good with it, then I'm ready to go.
Yeah, you always one of these fighters who's always pretty much ready to go. Like it won't take too much to get into it.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't really need a 10-week camp or whatever. So yeah, I'm pretty much in the gym all the time and in shape all year round. So whenever.
And then if we speak to you in 3 to 5 years, what would you like to have achieved by then?
By then, hopefully a UFC title. My plan, hopefully get in the Contender Series this upcoming year. So yeah, I really want to get into the UFC by next year.
Yeah, I mean, we've been super impressed, and it's been a real pleasure talking to you. And we'll be watching your fights really closely. So you've got fans in us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me.